The Council's fear, jar 950 words. 5 minutes narration. The chamber was older than most civilizations. Carved from a single asteroid hollowed out millennia ago, the Grand Convocation Hall floated in the silence between stars far from any sun. Its walls shimmered with bioluminescent veins, living metal that pulsed faintly with the breath of 1,000 worlds. Around the circular table sat the Galactic Council. 7 species, each ancient beyond human comprehension, each carrying the weight of empires that had risen and fallen before Earth's first ocean formed. And today, they had gathered to discuss a problem. Humanity. Vorath, the eldest speaker, rose slowly from his seat. His kind, the Kael'thar, had witnessed the birth of stars. Their bodies were tall and skeletal, draped in robes that seemed woven from shadow itself. When Vorath spoke, his voice resonated not in sound but in thought, pressing directly into the minds of all present. The humans expand too quickly. Silence followed. Not agreement, not disagreement, just the heavy, suffocating weight of truth. Across the table, Muriel of the Luminari shifted uncomfortably. Her people were beings of pure energy, their forms barely contained within shimmering crystalline shells. She had always been the optimist among the council, the one who believed in second chances and diplomatic solutions. But even she could not deny what the data showed. In less than 3 centuries since humanity had discovered faster-than-light travel, they had colonized 147 worlds. Not claimed, not surveyed, colonized, thriving cities, terraformed atmospheres, populations in the billions. Other species had taken millennia to achieve what humanity accomplished in mere generations. They do not ask permission, Vorath continued, his mental voice cold and precise. They do not negotiate borders. They simply go, and wherever they go, they take root, like a virus spreading through the galaxy. They are not a virus, Muriel interjected, her voice a chorus of harmonic frequencies. They are curious, driven. Perhaps too much so, but that does not make them evil. No, rumbled Drakkan, the war master of the Krithos Dominion. His species resembled bipedal reptiles, their scales blackened from generations spent in volcanic worlds. His eyes glowed like embers. It makes them dangerous. He gestured with one clawed hand and a holographic star map materialized above the table. Hundreds of blue points, human colonies, spread like wildfire across the outer spiral arm. Some clustered together. Others stood isolated, light years from the nearest neighbor. But all of them were growing, expanding, reaching. They have no respect for territory, Drakkan growled. No fear of the unknown. No sense of caution. In 50 years they will outnumber the Luminari. In a century they will rival the Kael'thar. And in 2 centuries, he did not finish the sentence. He didn't need to. The council understood. They will dominate. Vorath's words hung in the air like a death sentence. What do you propose? Asked Celix, the hive mind representative of the Vren collective. Her voice was layered, a dozen tones speaking in perfect unison. War? Extermination? We are not murderers. No, Vorath agreed. We are not. But we are also not fools. He waved a skeletal hand and the hologram shifted. Now surrounding every human colony, glowing red barriers appeared, quarantine fields powerful enough to isolate entire star systems. We contain them, Vorath said simply. We activate quantum isolation barriers around every known human world. No ships in, no ships out. They will have their colonies, their civilizations, their freedom, but they will expand no further. We will give them time to mature, to learn restraint, and when they are ready, if they are ready, we will reconsider. Muriel's light flickered. You would imprison an entire species? I would protect the galaxy, Vorath replied. From them, and from themselves. The vote was called. One by one, the council members cast their judgment. The Krathos voted yes. The Vren Collective abstained. The Silphara Accord voted yes. The Ornith Federation voted yes. When it came to Muriel, she hesitated. Her crystalline form dimmed, but in the end even she raised her hand. The motion passed. Within hours, the mechanism was set in motion. Across dozens of sectors, ancient Kael'thar dreadnoughts emerged from hyperspace, their hulls blacker than the void. They moved silently, efficiently encircling human colonies like shepherds corralling sheep, and then with a surge of energy that bent space-time itself, the barriers activated. Invisible, impenetrable, absolute. One by one, humanity's worlds went dark, not destroyed, but isolated, cut off from each other, cut off from the stars. The council watched from their ancient hall as the quarantine fell into place. Every colony accounted for, every human world contained, the work of a single day planned across decades. Vorath allowed himself a rare moment of satisfaction. It is done. But deep in the outer reaches of uncharted space, far beyond the council's sensors, far beyond their maps, far beyond their ancient, arrogant certainty, something flickered to life. A signal. Faint. Repeating. Transmitted from 100 hidden worlds the council never knew existed. And the message was simple. Phase 2 is green. Humanity is free. The Hidden Truth. 980 words. 5 minutes narration. Admiral Elena Vasquez stood on the bridge of the Defiant Hope, her hands clasped behind her back, her eyes fixed on the view screen. Beyond the reinforced glass, stars stretched endlessly, a tapestry of light that humanity had only begun to explore. But today, those stars felt farther away than ever. Barrier is holding at 98% integrity, reported Lieutenant Chen from the tactical station. His voice was steady, professional, but Elena could hear the tremor beneath it. Fear barely contained. All communication channels with Earth, silent. Mars colony, silent. New Terra, silent. Elena nodded slowly. She had expected this. The Council had finally done it. After decades of warnings, threats, and diplomatic posturing, they had pulled the trigger. Humanity was caged. Around her, the bridge crew worked in tense silence. They were the best, handpicked from a dozen colonies trained for the impossible. But even the best could not punch through a quantum isolation barrier. The technology was beyond anything humanity possessed, beyond anything humanity could even understand. The Kael'thar had been building these barriers when Earth was still cooling from its formation. "Ma'am," Chen said quietly. "What do we do?" Elena turned to face her crew, 37 souls all looking to her for answers, for hope. She smiled. Not a sad smile, not a defeated smile, a smile that held a secret. "We wait," she said simply. "And we trust," Chen blinked. "Trust who?" Elena's smile widened. "Trust that humanity learned its lesson a long time ago." She gestured to the view screen and the image shifted, no longer showing stars but a map. A vast, sprawling network of coordinates that spread across regions the Council had never charted. Places too remote, too dangerous, too insignificant for ancient empires to care about. And scattered across that map were hundreds of green dots. Human colonies. Secret. Hidden. Thriving. 214 years ago, Elena began, her voice carrying the weight of history. When humanity first broke the light barrier and touched the stars, we were naive. We thought the galaxy would welcome us. We thought we'd be joining a community of explorers, dreamers, scientists. She paused, her expression hardening. We were wrong. The Council made it clear from the beginning. We were children playing with fire, dangerous, reckless, unworthy. They watched us with fear disguised as concern. And we knew, that one day they would try to stop us. Chen leaned forward. So we prepared, Elena confirmed. Not with weapons, not with war, but with something the Council never expected. She tapped a command into her console and the map zoomed out further. More green dots appeared. Then more. Hundreds became thousands. The seed protocol, Elena said softly. Every colony ship we launched carried not just settlers and supplies, but instructions, secret coordinates, hidden caches of technology, and a single unbreakable directive: scatter. The bridge crew stared at the map in awe. For every colony the Council knew about, Elena continued. We launched 3 they didn't. Small expeditions. Skeleton crews. Ships designed to slip through sensor nets and vanish into the void. They traveled to asteroid belts, rogue planets, forgotten nebulae, places the great empires abandoned as worthless. She zoomed in on one green dot. A planet orbiting a dying red dwarf, its surface scarred and hostile. This is New Havana, Elena said. Population 60,000. Established 30 years ago. The Council doesn't even have this star system on their charts. Another dot. A hidden station inside a comet cluster. Frontier Station 7, 10,000 residents. Built inside hollowed-out ice, another, and another, and another, each one a testament to human ingenuity, human stubbornness, human refusal to be contained. We learned from history, Elena said, her voice thick with emotion. Humanity has been conquered before, colonized, oppressed, caged, and every single time we found a way to break free. Because you can imprison a body, but you cannot imprison an idea. She turned back to the view screen where the barrier still glowed ominously around their position. The council thinks they've won. They think they've contained us. They're sitting in their ancient hall right now, congratulating themselves on their wisdom, their mercy, their restraint. Elena's hands curled into fists. But they've made a critical mistake. They assumed we would play by their rules, that we would expand predictably, visibly, obediently. They assumed they knew where all our colonies were. She looked at Chen, at the rest of her crew, at the faces filled with dawning realization. They were wrong. A chime sounded from the communication station. The officer there, Ensign Malik, looked up with wide eyes. "Ma'am, I'm receiving a signal." Multiple signals, coded transmissions from... He paused, cross-referencing. From sectors the council has never explored. "Put it through," Elena ordered. The view screen flickered, and then one by one faces appeared. Human faces, captains, governors, scientists, farmers, miners, soldiers, representatives from colonies the council had never even dreamed existed. "Admiral Vasquez," said a woman with graying hair and kind eyes, "Governor Chen of New Havana. We're receiving reports. The barriers are active, but we're outside the net." "Confirmed," said another voice. "Captain Ortiz of Frontier Station 7. We're green across the board. The council's quarantine. It didn't touch us," more voices joined. More confirmations, hundreds of hidden colonies, thousands of ships, millions of people. All free. Elena felt something warm bloom in her chest. Pride, relief, and something deeper, something primal. Hope. "They caged the Earth," Elena said quietly, addressing not just her crew but every human listening across the scattered stars. "They caged our oldest worlds. But they cannot cage an idea. They cannot cage a dream." She straightened, her voice rising. "Activate Phase 2. Begin expansion protocols, and send a message to the council." "What message, ma'am?" Elena smiled, fierce and unyielding. "Tell them, humanity is already everywhere.